G'day folks, it's Rob here and welcome to another Backyard Farm and Aquaponics update vlog. This week's vlog we're looking at the aquaponics and also how the gardens are going out the front. With the aquaponics I just give a bit of a run through on an explanation on why the drain, or why we think the drain fell off the fish tank last week. That was the last aquaponics clip we uploaded. If you wanted to check it out, it's just up in there. Also have a bit of a quick look at some of the ginger growing in the root pouch garden next to the aquaponics. And then we pop on out the front and I just run through how the beds are going out there. A bit of an update on the strange growths we had on the corn plants, and also show you the difference between the male and female banana flowers. And then on Friday we popped on out the back here and I just gave a bit of a run through on the new barrels, or the new barrel I bought for Mum and Dad's aquaponic system that I'm going to be turning into a radial flow filter, and also just to run through the old biofilter I'll be repurposing for their system as well. So for you folks who do like these clips but miss them from time to time, all you need to do to be notified is hit this little subscribe button down there or down here, depending on which device you're watching this on, and click the little bell icon once it appears on the screen, and that means you'll be sent notifications whenever we upload clips to YouTube. There's a few little settings in the pop-up menu there, so you can, pick what works best for you. So I'll stop nattering on and we'll get stuck into the clip. Hey folks, just got back from walking the Lizzie pup. I thought I'd shoot a quick afternoon clip for you, just to show you the little bracket for the drain from the system, so that should stop anything from kicking that off again. I thought I'd share with you the story of how it actually happened as well. What we think has happened, because we don't know for sure, is I think Lizzie's been sitting in one of her nests behind the fish tanks, and she's heard or seen an ibis land over in the yard chasing the lawn grubs, and she's bolted out of here and knocked it over. Someone suggested a possum might have been able to do it. I don't think so. It's been sitting on there for 2 years, and I've seriously had kids who have visited the system with their parents kick it and jump on it. I'm more surprised that the pipe itself hasn't cracked. But yeah, I'm fairly sure that it's been a side wood force that's hit it, and Lizzie's the only thing I can think of that had come running through here. Someone did suggest that maybe we've got a malicious person in the neighbourhood. I don't think that's the case. I think it was just a one-off little accident. The ibis, by the way, have been here chasing the lawn grubs that I showed a couple of weeks back. Just with those lawn grubs too, I caught a bit of vision of the army grub wasp. It's a parasitic wasp, and what it likes to do is get its long spiky ovipositor and stick it in the lawn grubs, and it lays its eggs in there, they pupate and then they fly off. Didn't actually catch any laying their eggs in the grubs, but we saw loads of them, dozens of them flying around the backyards at times. I thought I'd give you a bit of a look at the ginger here. We're getting some rather nice growth on these sections, so pretty impressed with that. And I still haven't planted out anything in these beds here. All over the back there, there's Lizzie's new tennis ball. All over the back there, it's just been a little bit too warm, so I should probably head down there tomorrow and grab some, I think. This area, as you can see, gets a lot of shade in the afternoon due to the trees above it. These trees, as soon as the height of summer has passed, I'd say towards mid-February, I'll be using the silky saws to cut all them down, and I'll bring you along and give you a bit of a gander. We might just check the pH, and while we're doing so, might toss a bit of feed in for the fish. They're probably not going to cooperate, but we'll see, hey? Oh no, they're straight up onto it. I actually can't see what's going on. I've got a bit of a glare on the screen there. Yep, there we go. So it won't be long before that's all finished off. They're definitely enjoying the warmer water temperature, as I have said previously. So we'll go and check that pH, I think, and we'll just zoom out to make it easier to see. We're sitting at 6.7, so that's not too bad. I'd say that the feed this morning, the feed tonight will bring it down a smidge. So before I go up and make dinner a bit later, I'll just check the pH again, and if it's moved, we'll add in a little bit of the hydroxide. How's it going, folks? Bit of a front yard update. We have our last Kajari melon just over there that is ready to come off in the next day or so. You might actually be able to work out the Queensland fruit fly that's trying to get access to it to lay some eggs in there. I don't think it's going to have much luck though. We haven't had any hit with the fruit fly since they've been put in the bags at all this season. See if I can squish that lady. I actually was told by someone who commented on an old fruit fly clip today that they've found them for the first time in Tasmania, which is a bit of a shocker seeing as it's an island state. So a little bit of a worry for the Aussies down there. A lot of fruit being grown down in Tasmania. Just over here, a bit of a look at the rosellas. We'll just move back to give you a better look. I'm trying to stop the glare again today, folks. So there we go. Pretty bushy, isn't it? I think there's about 5 or 6 plants in there. Definitely hasn't put on the height last season's did before they started flowering, but we have had loads of flowers come through already, and we have a number of fruit that we'll be able to pick very soon. So I'm really chuffed about that. And just over here we have our corn. I'm actually out here, I'm just filling up the beds today. So just a bit of a quick look at the corn as well, folks. We did end up getting a second cob on the other side. This is the plant I showed you where it had the little green leafy bits, which I haven't normally seen on other varieties of corn. But yes, we've ended up with 2 cobs per plant, and these guys I think are some of the healthiest sweet corn we have grown in a long time. I haven't given them any extra feed. They had a dose of the Charlie Carp fish emulsion probably about a week or so before they started to form the cobs. So they should probably have another one now. And just to give you a look at some of the funky cobs we are getting. There we go, we've got some silks coming through as well as a little cob there. And before anyone says, you know, they're GMO corn and there's a reason that's happening, that's not true in Australia. There is no GMO sweet corn available to the public. And as far as I know, that's the same as anywhere else around the world, because you need to grow it under license. If you know, the big companies don't want to give away their seeds for free, so all GMO stuff is pretty much all sold under license around the world. You don't have to worry about it in your patch. But these guys are hybrid, which is a different thing altogether. Just basically you've got 2 different parents. One may be a parent that gives the trait for a nice sweet cob, and the other parent may be give a trait for, say, providing 2 to 3 cobs per plant. Like most of these guys have got 2 also cobs. So just a little bit of explanation for you folks who are curious. I just realized that the rosella bed is full. Excuse me, folks. So these beds here, especially these 2, the corn and the rosella, are being topped up every second day. It's just been that warm here over the last couple of days. It's been in the 90s for you folks overseas. 35 or 36 today, I think it hit. So it's been fairly warm. That's Celsius, of course. It's been fairly warm, so I'm making sure that these guys are topped up. I'd say this corn looked like it was almost dry. One of the benefits of having these see-through IBCs, self-watering beds, is I can actually see where the water level is. And I know that one's pretty much all right there. It's the one I just finished filling. And if we hold the camera here long enough, you'll start to see it darken over that ridge there. So you might be able to make out that the water is starting to come up a little bit just down in there. Excuse me, corn. So actually you can see it better there. There's a little black line and there's the overflow. So time to close these off. Just back to the Kajaris quickly. I ended up taking a couple off this week. The last one was a very small one. I took it off yesterday afternoon along with 4 figs from our little dwarf fig plant here. These little barrel trays look like they need filling up as well. And the other thing I wanted to show you was the bananas out the front here. This one over here has got some very pretty little flowers on it. See if I can give you a better look. Just climbed up onto the bed here. That's what female banana flowers look like, and at the end of the bell you end up with some male flowers. So they're pretty much all a sterile fruit. They don't have any seeds in them. And for you folks who are asking me, I think they're a sugar finger variety. They're just the basic backyard variety that you'll see all through southeast Queensland. If I can get it to focus in properly. I'm actually doing a clip on these guys now, the bananas, that I will bring to YouTube in the next couple of weeks. I've had enough people ask me about them. But I don't think we're going to have any more fruit this season. No, that one up there is another leaf unfurling, and that's a little leaf up there. So a little bit of a look at these guys anyway. How's it going, folks? Just wanted to give you a bit of a look at what's going on with these filters down here. I've managed to salvage the old biofilter from the old IBC system we had here, and I'll be able to use that again. This will be the new biofilter on Mum and Dad's system. Basically the water will enter there from the skimmer on Mum and Dad's system, out through one of those slotted pipes and then work its way up through the media and then out this little exit port here, which needs to be enlarged to a 90mm or 3.5 inch. Just need to cut away some of this plastic and that will run down into the sump. Down here we have what will be the inflow. It's basically a uniseal, 1.5 inch to 40mm I should say, that will sit above this little attachment here. This is basically a drain for cleaning out any solids that may accumulate in the base of here. So that's just going to sit there, and we'll have a little double 40. This is from our old system that'll just sit down there nicely, and that will bring water in from the radial flow. Now, this is my old radial flow filter from the old system. I won't be using this for a few reasons. One, it's got some extra attachments on here that I don't want to include in this build because it will confuse folks who are trying to understand how it works. And also too, the little flow redirector at the top here is a little bit too large, I think. What I'm thinking of doing is reducing it down to a 4 or 6 inch or 150mm pipe, one of the two, and that will redirect the water down. So that's, yeah, pretty much we're going to can this build. Plus I'm using 1 inch pipe as the inlet and the 1.5 inch as the outlet, or the 25mm inlet, 40mm outlet. Went and bought another one. These guys aren't cheap, by the way. But the main reason being is occupational health and safety reasons. You now need 2 people to lift anything over a certain weight. So these guys here are pretty much all fall into that weight category where one person used to be allowed to lift them. So they're pretty hard to find now. That was the excuse I was given. I don't know if it's true or not. So these are actually $15 dearer than the blue barrel drums that are 200 litres. This is a 60 litre, by the way. So nice screw top lid. And yeah, it'll do the job nicely. It's the same drums as the other two. There may be an issue with light coming through and causing algae to build up, but we'll deal with that at the time. It'll be easy enough for Dad to put a little bit of paint on the outside here, or maybe clad up where the filters are going to go as well. Make the unit look all nice and dandy. These blue barrels here, the reason I'm not going to use one of these jobbies in the build is because of that base down there. You can see the seam along there, and on the bottom here, there's a ridge there. So it's very hard to get a nice even or clean seal on there. And this one here, the old radial flow, I don't know if you've seen the clip, but I managed to get a nice watertight seal on the base there. I'll probably use a uni-seal this time around with a little adapter I want to make up, something different on the inside. And then Dad can run this out because the radial flow filter will be lifted up to the same height as the water in the IBC, so it doesn't overflow naturally. It will have to be on a stand. We can utilise a bottom drain like this. So there you go, just a bit of a look at the, there you go Lizzie, a bit of a look at the barrels we're going to be using. So I don't think we're going to actually get up to much in regards to Mum's aquaponics system build or the chicken coop this weekend. We've got some builders coming around tomorrow who are going to hopefully give us a ballpark figure on the cost of renovations, and also let us know if we can do a few things like under the back deck. I'd like to set up a little area where we can do workshops, whether they be on aquaponics or backyard farming, just little small group ones. So that's pretty much one of the driving forces behind renovating, just to create a learning space. So that's going to be interesting. And Sunday I'm going to try and get over to Mum's, and we're just going to do a little bit of a work out how big the stand needs to be for the filters, and through next week I'll do a little bit of work on them. So yep, next update vlog, or maybe next aquaponic vlog, you'll get a bit of a look at them. And before I go, as always, I need to send out a huge thank you and g'day to the marvellous folks over on Patreon who are helping to support the channel here on YouTube. If you want to check out the super contributors, their links are in the description down below. I think that is pretty much all it though. I do hope you're all well and happy and that you have enjoyed these vlogs that I've been posting, and I will catch you next clip. Cheers all, have a top one. Trying to film wasps.